Hello and welcome. In this video, we're going to be looking back at the year so far at some of our favorite movies to come out just in the first half of 2023. There's been some fantastic movies so far, and there are many more fantastic movies still to come. So let's stack up our favorite movies so far this year. Welcome once again. My name is Austin, and on this channel we talk about one of my favorite things in the world, movies, and how I tie together my faith with film and everything that's in between. Starting things off in the fifth slot, we have one that was a big surprise for me this year, and that's the Apple TV Plus original Tetris. I thought this one had a really unbelievable story. It was one that I was not familiar with, but really enjoyed just taking in throughout the film, learning about the people and the events that took place. It was all really fun, really exciting. Edgerton is really great in the role. It's probably one of my favorite roles of his. He really disappeared into it that I really only just saw the character as opposed to his persona as an actor. It moves at a fast pace, sometimes to its fault that I missed a couple details I felt, but overall an absolutely great experience and still one of my favorite movies so far from this year. Next, in the fourth slot, we have the movie Missing. This is the follow-up to the 2018 movie Searching, and I thought that this movie is possibly better. I need to give it another watch before I can decide that. It's very likely better and superior to the first, and I really love the first one. A lot of what it did was really groundbreaking, really interesting and exciting. And this movie took everything that was set up in that foundation and just turned it all up and just goes wild with it. And I thought I did a great job pulling it off. From start to finish, it is a wild ride. There are twists and turns almost constantly, it feels like. It's a very twisty movie, but every twist works within the context of the movie and the story and kind of leads into the next one. And I think that flow is really well and really effective throughout the movie. There's incredible talent behind camera as well as behind screen, because in this movie, they use special effects to recreate so many social media apps and programs that we're familiar with, websites, all that kind of stuff. And it's incredibly creative, well done, and immersive, and really adds to the depth and the skill that has come and is on display in this movie. So I absolutely loved it. I hope we continue to get more movies in this format and in this world, because I really enjoy both of these ones so far. Next, in the third slot, we have Extraction 2. This is one I've really been looking forward to because I really liked the first one. It had some issues. I did have some issues with the first one, and I think they took the lessons that they learned on the first one that was still a really good movie. And just like Missing, almost everything is better about this movie than the first one. I think Chris Hemsworth is still great, one of the best parts of it. But for me, what really stood out in this one, and I really, again, love the action in the first one, I think the action's even better in this one. The sets and locations are bigger, more epic, and they totally take advantage of those locations and don't just use them for sake of using them, but implement them into the story really well. It plays with the trajectory of the film and is really well utilized. I think the stunt work is absolutely incredible, mind-blowing. It's right up there with the John Wick franchise for me, of the true effort that you can see is put into making these movies as entertaining as possible from an action perspective. Besides that, there's more character, and that includes Tyler Rake, Chris Hemsworth's character, as well as Nick and Yaz, which have more to do in this one that I really liked getting to see them work alongside of Tyler's character and fight alongside him, the bickering, the arguing, and just the communication and all of their past relationship experience that they have together, all brought into this one. I think it plays really well getting to see them in the action together as well. I love the practicality of it all. There's so much that just feels so tangible about it. That's one of my favorite things about action movies, is when they do stuff that you can tell is done for real, and I really appreciate that. So I think Extraction 2 for me is one of the best movies of the year so far. Next, in the number 2 slot, now I have only seen this one and the one in the number 1 slot once so far this year. I need to give them a rewatch. So until then, 1 and 2 might be a little bit interchangeable, but I need to give them each another watch, I think, before I can definitively, say one is in one slot and one is in the other. So right now, in the number 2 slot, we have Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. I have an interesting relationship with the Spider-Verse franchise because I liked the first one when it came out, and I've since watched it maybe 3 or 4 times, and every time I fell more in love with it, and I think now it's one of the best Spider-Man movies ever made. And somehow they still topped themselves in Across the Spider-Verse. Everything about this movie is better than the first. The animation is absolutely gorgeous, and they do some fantastic stuff that I've never seen done with animation before. They are setting the standard and blazing the trail for animation moving forward, and I think it's fantastic work. Besides that, we get much more interesting characters and character depth. There's different motivations for this movie. There's different struggles that they're dealing with, and even the stuff that does carry over from the first movie is done so in such a way that just all of it comes together so well, and it's so well crafted from beginning to end, and every single thing about this, I think, is just amazing. It's amazing. I can't wait to see where this goes next. My only real complaint about this movie is it had to end on such a cliffhanger that it did. I could see it coming, but I still am no happier about it. So I can't wait to see where we go with part 2 of this trilogy that we're doing for this Spider-Verse. So for now, Across the Spider-Verse is in my number 2 slot. And finally, so far, my favorite movie to come out this year is John Wick Chapter 4. If you know me well, you know I love action. Action is probably my favorite movie genre, neck and neck with fantasy and sci-fi, but action probably just has that little bit edge over it, especially in a movie like John Wick Chapter 4, where it just has all of the things that I love. The practicality, they put in the work, all of the action is just remarkably well done. You can tell they spent hours and hours and hours training, rehearsing, setting up all of the different aspects that go into making a shot or a sequence or a scene. All of it is so well constructed and put together, you can't help but just marvel at it in watching the movie. There's more characters in this one. They're still introducing new characters into the series, and these new characters they're introducing, I love them just as much as I've done previous characters in it. I enjoy seeing Donnie Yen show up as much as I did Willem Dafoe in the first movie, and I think he is an incredible addition to the franchise, so I loved his character throughout, and even some of the more minor characters throughout. I thought they were really good, really interesting, and they all have their moment to shine. This is also possibly the best story so far in the franchise. I still think I like the first one the best, at least that's been my default for a while. But again, I do need to give this one another rewatch because I've only seen it once so far, and then I might have a better idea of how it stacks up to the rest of the movies. So just an all-around fantastic movie. So far, as I've said, my favorite movie to come out this year. I would love to hear what some of your favorite movies are so far this year, because we've had some really great ones. I've still missed out on some that I need to catch up on, so if there was one you thought might have been on my list I didn't mention, it might be I just haven't seen it yet. I have a really busy schedule and I can't always get to everything right away. So there's some amazing movies coming out still this year. We haven't even seen Mission Impossible, Oppenheimer, Dune. There's so many great movies that I know I'm excited for, and I hope you are too. So share in the comments down below some of your favorite movies so far this year. Thank you for sticking around to the end of this video. I will see you in the next one.